right, familia, we're gonna go ahead and get started on today's session. I appreciate every single one of you guys for being on here on an amazing Saturday. I'm out here actually in Tahoe. Actually, I was in Reno yesterday, so I was about to say Reno. But we're out here in Lake Tahoe right now. As you can see, I'm literally in the woods. We just came from a hike. Amazing views here at Lake Tahoe. I've never ever been out here, and it's super dope, right? Because you get to see the nature, you get to see the views, you get to see like, damn, like there's so much to look at in the world. There's so much to embrace. It's something that we don't get often, and I decided to be out here because actually the weather is perfect out here. Literally. So with saying that, I appreciate you guys for being on today's session here within Crypto and Assets. Remember, feel free to share this out. This is a call that obviously is on YouTube. We run these every single Saturday. Now, today I'm just going to be myself, Gil, on this session. John Luke right now is actually on the flight on his way here as well for the leaders retreat we have within Powerhouse in our community. But I didn't want to miss the session because there's been a lot of things going on in the markets and crypto and the stock market as a whole in the last 7 days. And I wanted to cover some things on really the perspective on like what to do in these scenarios. A lot of people don't know what to do when the market is going down, and people only want to be involved in the markets when things are going up, because our whole lives we were literally taught that you buy when things are going up and you sell when things are going down, right? It doesn't make sense when you say it, but it's the reality of what we've been taught when it comes to the markets, right? People get excited of Bitcoin. People get excited of the S&P. People get excited to invest when they see it already going up, not realizing that the opportunity actually lies when markets are low. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about some things today on today's session. My goal is to be very intentional with this session, but at the same time, be very informative and give some really good information with you guys. Now, if you guys want and can, go ahead in the chat box here on YouTube. Just share where you're tuning in from. I'm in Lake Tahoe right now, but I'm from Dallas, Texas. Let me know in the chat box, where are you tuning in from any part of really the globe that you're here with us today. So the first thing that we always do is we always talk about what's going on in crypto. Today, I don't have the slide that John Luke has. He's a specialist of that. I decided to kind of show you guys a little bit of what I do when I look at certain news. This is a website called Decrypt. Now, this is specifically just for crypto. We can go a little bit when it comes to like markets as a whole, maybe look at Yahoo Finance a little bit and look at news that's happening there. But what I like about Decrypt is that it's not really biased, right? Like a lot of the news that exists today is very biased. So what do I mean by that? I mean by they only want to show you what they want to show you, right? Within crypto, it's a little bit more decentralized, right? Hence the name Decrypt. So things are a little bit more not as controlled, right? So this is a couple of things that we can see. Now, what I also like to do is I like to look at the news and kind of think of the opposite of what's really the news out there. What I mean by that is that when there's negative news, I keep my eye open for opportunities. And when there's too much positive news, I look up opportunities to either take profit or not to reaccumulate until we see lower prices. So those are the couple things I look for. One of the first things I look for here is, as we can see, the main headline, right? Well, anytime you look at main news places like Decrypt or Yahoo Finance or just Google or news on TV or social media, you want to look at what the overall people are saying. Because one thing I want you guys to write down, if you guys have never heard me say this, you watch the masses and you do the opposite. If the masses are scared, then you want to be, excited. You want to look for opportunities. When people are greedy, everybody talking about crypto and you should keep buying. That's when you want to look at potential take profits or waiting for lower entries and not accumulating in those times, right? So as you can see, there's a main headline right here. This literally was posted today. Bitcoin has dumped all of its gains since Trump was reelected. So that's like one of the main headlines right now that we have on Decrypt, which, by the way, Decrypt is very known in crypto, like literally internationally, anywhere in the world. It's very known. So again, this is something that, in my opinion, there's still, things pushed out there for certain reasons. But as you can see, literally it shows that since Trump has been reelected, crypto has been down. It hasn't gone up, even though obviously he promised, right, he said he wants to become one of the biggest countries when it comes to BTC. There's a lot to go with that. Number one is they're one of the most invested countries. So just keep that in mind. But also number two, I always say institutions, the wealthy, always want lower prices. It's something to keep in mind as well. Now you can see that they're using a lot of things from Twitter or X, right? You can see this post from Michael Saylor that said, "Sell a kidney if you must, but keep the Bitcoin." And it also talks about, and they've been talking about that Michael Saylor has sold some Bitcoin. Now I want to let y'all know that he didn't sell a lot at all. Like he sold a very small portion, and it's really for more of like the traditional side that he has with like dividends in his company and stuff like that. So just being honest, just like a recycle of money. It's not really like selling to take profit in a way, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is something that's actually very bullish for me. When I see this, I see something like this. This shows me that the retail people are fearful. That's what this really shows me, right? You can really look at any other things here and kind of be like, okay, what is the sentiment, right? Right here, look, Bitcoin falls below 60K for the first time, which obviously it did since 2024. Again, another article that is showing bearishness. Even look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Just think about the masses and kind of look at a different scenario. Bitcoin's next move: pump to 84K or dump to 55. 78% of people are looking for 55 and below. I'm not saying that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It definitely can. We're basically almost there. We kind of went higher 50s, right? But it's just keep in mind, if you do what everybody else does, you get what everybody else has, which is not profitable, not in the markets, not understanding this, right? So that's a really good perspective to have. Now, another thing I want to show you guys is a fear and greed index. This is an index that I talked about 2 weeks ago when we were last on here as well. This shows the sentiment of the market. As you can see right now in the stock market, we went from greed. We were literally in greed all of April, May, June, and we're in fear right now. And I'm going to show you guys something because the pullback hasn't even been that crazy with the stock market. So the fact that we're even in fear, for me, it's very bullish. I'm not gonna lie. And even for crypto, I'm gonna talk about it as well. Because in crypto, we are in extreme fear. We are literally at the lowest since April 12th. Literally on June 2nd, we had the lowest, I think, of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And for me, that is bullish. Now, Gil, why is that bullish? A lot of people are like, Gil, what do you mean this is bullish? Well, remember, watch the masses and do the opposite. But the other thing is the charts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's where I start. And actually, I'm going to pull up one more thing here in a bit. That also thing. So one thing I look at is obviously we're looking at Bitcoin. We know why. It's a leading indicator of everything. Now, remember, I just told you guys that we have extreme fear right now. The last time we had this type of fear, we were here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this amazing example. April 12th, we were at extreme fear. April 14, around here. That's actually on my birthday, which is crazy. But April 12th, we were right here. Yeah, right here. Okay. Look at this. This here, we had extreme fear in the market. But what happened after? The market started to accumulate, and this is when we actually created the all-time high. So this is April of 2025. Actually, I'm now seeing this. But I know this was April of this year, right? Yeah, this was definitely April this year. So even kind of similar things here, right? April. Same thing here. This was April 14 of this year, right? This is what this was showing right here. So this is, yeah, 2026, right? But what happened? The market did give a jump up, right? It didn't last, which I talked about that with you guys. If you guys been on this session, I was talking about that I needed to see Bitcoin come up here and stay above here for me to really think it was going to do this. The fact that it rejected this, for me, I already kind of had an idea, and I've been talking about this. I'm not saying I'm calling it out. I'm not saying that, but I literally said we're going to go below this wick. There was very possible, and we've officially done that. Now, what I really like about this, now looking at it myself, is the fact that we've wicked below here. So there's something called liquidity. Took all these buyers that thought they cut the bottom, right? They got all taken out when it comes to leverage, so trading. And now they got liquidated. And guess what? There's extreme fear. When I see something like this, extreme fear and a big pullback, this is really good because the fact is this. A lot of people are looking at this. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people want this. Now, am I saying that can't happen? Of course not. That can definitely happen. My perspective is I don't think so, just because there's already a lot of fear in the market here. If there was less fear, then honestly, I would be a little bit more fearful because I would be like, all right, we're going lower. Like if this was around fear, like if this was just fear, okay, on here, and it was here, I would say, yeah, we can go lower. Okay. Hopefully that's making sense. This is not the only thing I look for. This is just perspective. I look at like the psychology side of this because I want you guys to know that the markets have psychology. If you guys have never seen me do this or talk about this, there's something called the Wall Street cheat sheet. It's a lot of dust out here, actually. Wall Street cheat sheet that I've shown here on these sessions is literally this one. This one right here, right? So this shows the emotion of the markets. Okay. So there's different cycles of emotions in the bigger cycle, right? And then there's smaller cycles and there's bigger cycles. I think right now we are in a cycle, overall cycle. I think crypto as a whole, not gonna lie, overall is like in optimism. I think so. Like overall, like I'm talking about like looking at like on the monthly or the 2 month or the yearly, right? But in this cycle that we're in, I personally think we're like here. We're getting out of this. Like I think we're entering a small period of depression. That's what I think. I personally think we're around a small period of depression. Again, a smaller cycle in the bigger cycle. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this right now. I personally do like anything below this, this wick. I could see this accumulate before it starts to take off. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised like this happening. I don't know. I don't think so. But I do expect maybe a certain bounce going into next week. And then maybe having a retracement back into that area. So when you're looking at Bitcoin for your portfolio, whatever it is, I personally would advise. I mean, to be honest, these prices are amazing. When something happens like this, it's never a bad idea to accumulate. But like I always say, you never just want to accumulate your whole bag in one entry. So what I mean by that, if you have $2,000, sorry for my not the best, right? But if you have $2,000 and you want to invest in Bitcoin, for example, this wouldn't be bad to invest maybe 500 today. Then if prices go lower, you invest another 500. Prices go lower, you invest another 500. And then let's say the market starts to jump up and starts to create structure. Guess what? You look for a pullback and then you invest the last $500. So my thing is this, you always want to invest in pieces, not at one time, just because it gives you better, it's actually better mentally as well, because you always have capital on the side, but it also gives you one of the best opportunities as well in the market. Okay. So when it comes to crypto, we can see all these markets going down. I literally was talking about Ethereum going below here last 2 weeks as well. I really like Ethereum under 1400. That is going to be a massive steal. That will create a headline, to be honest. I think it will, and that's why I think this can actually do this for this market to actually go below. Because one thing I can see, and this is just something like, this is just being picky or like looking at things that a lot of people don't look at, is Bitcoin went below the wick. Okay. Remember, Bitcoin is the leading indicator. That means most cryptos, if not all, will follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin already went below this previous wick on February 2026, February 1st. Ethereum, which was a different timing. This was a different timing, but still went below, hasn't gone below this one. Now, it did go below this one. So, I can see it maybe rejecting, but honestly, I do believe there's a lot of liquidity right here, okay, that this market would want to take out before it goes higher. Now, it doesn't mean you have to wait for this. No, like it's not too much of a difference. Like right now, it's at 1550. You're 20% down is not crazy if it was to happen. You can never always catch the bottom. So my thing is this. My first perspective, because I'm a little bit more patient, I'm looking at 1400. Once it goes into 1400, I'm going to have one position in. If it goes to 1200, I'll get another position. If it goes to 1000, I'll get another position. It goes to 800, I'll get another position. And then if it goes anything lower, we're going to stack because Ethereum is something that is basically ran by the US at this point. So there's a lot of money in this market. So my best piece of advice is keep your eyes out for Ethereum. Keep your eyes out. Keep your eyes out for the bigger cryptos right now. Don't look too much on the smaller cryptos. That's the thing as well. A lot of people, when something happens, they look at the smaller cryptos. This is the time to look at the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the Solanas. Literally, Solana right now is in our DCA zone that we've been talking about, that our educators as well have been talking about here. I really like this area. Again, I want to kind of see what this does here because Solana has lower potential. Like I feel like Solana can go to $50. The reason why is because there's a lot of imbalance. So it's hard to dictate where it's going to actually balance out. So that's why I'm looking at Ethereum more strictly, but Solana, I'm going to be following it after Ethereum. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. But those are the main ones I would be looking at. Even Aave right now. Aave is down. We talked about it at 90, 80. Like right now, we are in drawdown. That is okay. I personally really like where it's at right now. This candle right here, I like it. Like if this sweeps, I wouldn't be surprised. There's this right here. This is another mitigation. Like I wouldn't be surprised, just saying, if we have Aave sweep and then go. Like that could happen. But that is literally like these are the cryptos that I know this sounds terrible, but when something has use case like Aave and it seems like it's gonna die, that's when you want an opportunity. Because look at this. I'll give you this example. Solana back in 2022, 2023. When Solana hit $13, $12, people literally said it was gonna die. Like it's dead. It's over. Like look at this. If you're looking at this chart, majority of people would not buy this. Like it's dead. But guess what happened? That was the best opportunity to execute. When something has real use case, when something has actual opportunity, when it has money in the markets, Ethereum has a lot of money in the markets. Bitcoin has a lot of money in the markets. When people believe that something is going to die, that is when you want to accumulate. And look at what happened. Ethereum had a 2,600% jump in the course of 2 years. That is literally wild. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Aave or these other cryptos, but I'm just giving perspective. The markets don't do the same thing, but they do rhyme. And that's something to keep in mind as well. So when it comes to crypto, that's my piece of advice. I would not be looking at any other ones. I mean, Ondo, yeah, there could be another opportunity. What I like about Ondo, just perspective, is that it's holding really good. Like Bitcoin has dumped heavy, and Ondo has only gone down like 20%. A lot of these altcoins are down 40, 50% right now. So I kind of like this. If you're looking for a position in Ondo, I have nothing wrong with where it's at right now. If it comes back here, even better. But I really like the strength that Ondo has during this pullback. Like the fact that BTC is super here and Ethereum is about to hit like really good areas. Solana is super down. The fact that something like Ondo has kept its structure after this quick bullishness it had in May, that is very bullish. That is something you want to look at. You want to look at strong projects when the big ones are falling. And Ondo is a really good example of that. Okay. Because it should technically, just saying, Ondo should have swept this. It should. From the move that Bitcoin had, Ondo should be here. But the fact that it isn't shows me a lot of strength in the market. All right. So that's when it comes to crypto as a whole. Now, obviously, we talk about stocks here as well. But before we do that, I did want to show you guys something that I saw on X. Okay, that I saw on X. If you guys don't know this, right? There's a guy named Jim Cramer. This guy named Jim Cramer. I'm gonna start sharing real quick. This guy named Jim Cramer is somebody who's on CNBC, right? Which is like the normal TV, TV channel, right? Now, one thing about this guy is that anything he posts about, you actually want to do the opposite. Like literally, there's actually a movie about it. That like how it's shown like a movie. So like it's shown like it's not something that's like actually like how can I say like it's not real, but it is real, right? He gets paid to say certain things, and it's something that we do a lot in Zinrai. Actually, we call it the Jim Cramer like signal, right? Like literally the fact that anything he says, the opposite happens. Okay, so I'm gonna actually go ahead and show you guys this real quick. Literally the other day, this is the X account, by the way. Literally the other day, he literally was talking about how Saylor murdered Bitcoin on June 5th. There's so many examples that when he said, this crypto's gonna be dead or this stock is dying, is actually the bottom. Like it's crazy. I'm not saying that's the only thing you use, but it's another thing to look at as well. I honestly don't like the fact that he said, I just found a company that makes Nike look good. I mean, he's not talking about Nike, but it just depends. So you kind of want to, there's a lot of things to look at. This is one thing if you want to look like literally like who murdered Bitcoin. This is on June 4th. Like, like if he ever says like I will never buy Bitcoin again. If you're buying Bitcoin, something like that, I mean, that is very bullish news, really. So I like what I'm seeing. I really like that this is happening. I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen as well. Because even in the stock market, we're now in fear. Remember what I told you guys later that I was going to talk about? We are in fear in the stock market, but look at the stock market as a whole. If we look at the S&P, guys, this is fear right now. Look at this. We are in fear. Look at the stock market. We're super bullish, but we are in fear, right? So this is a pullback that was bound to happen. I was waiting for this pullback. This pullback can go in here. It can go into this box. Of course it can. It can definitely come here. And this would be huge extreme fear. But really, I feel like it's going to just be bullish. So what are the opportunities we have when it comes to stocks? Now, one of the biggest ones I think is Circle. It's about to go into our DCA zone, which is around $80. Remember, I talked about this. It's the company that owns USDC, which is a crypto stable coin, where that's where a lot of money in crypto is going into. A lot of people don't realize that it's going into stable coins, because stable coins is what we're going to be using on a day-to-day life. We're not going to be using Bitcoin. People think you're going to be using Bitcoin at the grocery store. You're not going to. You're going to be using a stable coin. And USDC is one of the biggest ones in the US. It's actually the biggest in the US, and in the world, it's like top 2, top 3, right? So I really like Circle. It's coming into our area. If you want to be pickier, I will look at 70, 71. But really, anything under 80, I'm going to be reaccumulating here as well with us. Now, another good one that we've been talking about that's been holding really strong, actually, is Paramount. Because you got to think about it like this, kind of similar to what I said earlier. This is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is tanking, but Paramount is holding its ground. That is good. That means other assets, other companies in the NASDAQ are tanking, but Paramount isn't. Because remember, NASDAQ is an index. It's showing the weight of all the companies in the NAS 100, right? So it shows the overall. That means other companies are tanking, but Paramount is staying pretty strong with it as well, right? Then you even have something like Netflix. Netflix is actually in my zone right now. This is in my zone. I just started to accumulate around here. Okay. But this is in my zone. Netflix is in my zone right now. I really like it. Remember what I talked to you guys about. Their numbers are super bullish. They're super profitable. I personally believe, I'm going to keep saying this. This is not that I know everything. It's just my from things that I've been studying and learning from when it comes to the educators on our community and everything. In the 6 years I've had in the markets, I think this area will be the bottom of it just because Netflix co-founder said he was going to step down here, but he's actually going to step down here. I think this is the top, the news, but it actually happening, I think will be the bottom. Just my opinion. I could be wrong, but it's just my POV. Also, keep in mind, earnings come out in July. Okay. So a lot of exciting things going on. Another one that I actually like now that I actually started accumulating is Nike. Now, this is my long shot play. Okay. This is my play that it's either a home run or it's going to be a fat L. you know? And the reason why I like it is because Nike actually has decent numbers. And the fact that it's down 76%, a company like Nike that is actually being profitable right now is, I think, a potential 5, 10, 15-year opportunity. The fact that it also is rejecting off of this area that I was looking for, this imbalance right here. So there's an imbalance in the market right here. What does that mean? There is a gap in the market. There is a gap that hasn't been filled. That is a gap that I was looking for. It came in and rejected off of this gap. I started to accumulate around here. I like this right now. If we can see this really reject and do this, then we're actually looking pretty decent. So Nike is one of those plays that is a long shot play. It's not something you put a lot of your net worth, in my opinion, unless you're a riskier, but it's a long shot because if it hits, you have a potential of at least 300% in the next 5 to 10 years. I think so, at least, because the stock market is moving a lot quicker than before, right? So many opportunities right now. Even Hims right now, I'm still in profit, which is crazy. The fact the market's going down. It's not part of the NASDAQ, it's just the New York Stock Exchange. But right now, I really like Hims as well. Really, all of the projects that we've been talking about are in amazing opportunities. Okay. Something like PayPal, amazing opportunity. Something like Disney, I still like it. Can it go lower? Yes. Anything below 90, I think is a great opportunity as well. Klarna is sticking pretty strong. We already talked about how we were in profit here. If you haven't gotten in Klarna, I like anything at 15 or below for a potential reaccumulation as well here. So really, guys, there's a lot of plays that have a lot of opportunity. Even Mara, I would like anything below $11 right here for a potential move up as well. And even Coinbase, I'll say Coinbase right here as a last stock I'll talk about. Coinbase, I personally want to see at 125. I think crypto will be slowly accumulating, but will still be going down a little bit more. I don't think it's the end of it. I think it needs to be a little bit more fear, but to be honest, there's a lot of opportunity right now. Like, if you don't have a portfolio, you've been looking at what to buy, I think this is the time. Like, start to accumulate now. If it goes lower, get another position in, but it's better to get in than not be in at all, mostly at these type of prices. But I like Coinbase at 125 because, again, there's a lot of liquidity right here, a lot of money to be taken out. The markets like to take people out before they get in. So that's why I really like 125 as well here. So those are the biggest ones I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the fear and greed index, the fact that we're in extreme fear. Remember, when people are fearful, you want to be greedy. When people are greedy, you want to be fearful. Because look at the stock market. When people were greedy, that was a top. When people are fearful, that's a bottom. So you want to look at this as another source of understanding on what's going on and use that perspective that literally I just told you guys as well. So that's really some of the things I would look at. I would be patient. Again, I could see the market go lower. I can see it go maybe, like I was showing you guys earlier. BTC, I could see going in the 50s and staying there a little bit longer. Now, to be honest, I kind of want to see a rejection. And really what we want to see, just perspective, is we want to see it break above here. Because there's something called market structure. If you guys don't know that, higher highs, higher lows, lower lows and lower highs. Right now, it's creating lower lows and lower highs. But if this starts to accumulate and creates a higher high, it's game. I think it's game, right? So right now, again, there's a lot of opportunity. Be patient. Put capital on the side. I personally have a belief that 2026 is the opportunity to buy. And 2027, 2028, 2029 will be the opportunity for the fruit from the seeds that you've been planting. All right. So honestly, just survive. Stay plugged in. If you're not a part of what we're doing here, I want you to check out our website here on powerhouseuniversity.org. We have everything that we learn from is right here. We have so many things. We even have testimonials. We have our roadmap, our blueprint. Everything that we do is here. I highly recommend it. Obviously, you're on our YouTube right now, which is completely free. But I highly recommend for you to check out what we got. And if it's a good fit, go ahead and fill out the forms, and we'll be able to tell you the next steps on what to do. But there's so many exciting things right now. Right now, we're actually on tour here within our community. We were in Reno yesterday. We're going to be in Modesto, California tomorrow or Monday, actually. And they're going to be in AZ. And then we're going to be in Dallas. This is a tour that is going on in multiple different cities. Reno just happened. Then we have Modesto, Phoenix, and Dallas. So if you're in any of these cities, go ahead, fill out the form that we have in the description here from this call. And we'll be able to also direct you to this event. Now, if you got connected through myself, through my Instagram or the free Telegram, you can also use that as well. We've been able to send that in, or if you guys want anything about this event, let me know. You can go ahead and follow me at Gil Creator. It's here on the Zoom, at Gil Creator on IG, and we can send you the info for this event. But just letting y'all know, a lot of exciting things are coming. Definitely stay plugged into what, these sessions. And if you're not a part of our inner circle, our inner community, go ahead and check it out. Go ahead and check it out, because there's not a lot of people that are doing the things that we're doing, going into different cities, doing in-person workshops. Many people aren't willing to do that. They like to stay behind a screen. They only like to do their own courses type of thing. But what we have here is an actual community. It's an ecosystem that is here to help you learn the markets, be hands-on, but also, most importantly, get the feedback and guidance that I believe that everybody needs to get, because I'm blessed that I had it literally 6 years ago. And that's what's kept me in the game for a very long time. So really, we're saying that, guys, stay patient in the markets, stay disciplined, stay plugged in, stay educated, and always, always, always look for the next source, a next level of education or community, because that's going to keep you in the game a lot longer than anything else, right? So again, hope you guys have a great Saturday. I know this session wasn't too long. I wanted to kind of go in here, give you guys a game, give you guys what I'm looking at. But remember, stay patient. And be greedy when people are fearful, and be fearful when people are greedy. All right, familia. So we're going to go ahead and let you guys go. And I'll see you guys very soon.